This is the really ugly side of female nature that I have seen firsthand, especially over the last year. Women saying, you know what? I shouldn't be admitting this. I like you a lot more than the other men that I'm dating. I said, excuse me? Oh, I like you more than the other men that I've been seeing. Who have you been seeing? Well, I've been seeing this accountant here, and I've been seeing this lawyer or this plumber or whatever. And I was like, well, what's wrong with them? Well, this guy takes me on dates, and we, do stuff every now and then, but it's just not there. He's kind of meh. This guy, we have, like, there's been no physical activity happening whatsoever, and he just kind of takes care of me, etc. And I'm like, what? So you have a roster? Oh yeah, of course. Every girl has a roster. And I'm like, wait, every girl has a roster? I kind of thought this stuff before, but now I'm getting confirmed to me in person. Or like I'm seeing Willy Wonka's chocolate factory and like, holy, Augustus Gloop is in the river in the fountain of chocolate. She's like, yeah, every single woman has a guy that they, physical activity. You have different needs, different tools for different men. And at first I thought, this woman is completely broken. And then this copy and paste, same conversation probably happened with 3 or 4 different women throughout the rest of the year. I even had one telling me this exact same thing. And I said, what do you think the other men that you're seeing will say? And she said, not a word of a lie. Do you see this? Yes. There is no ring on these fingers. And until there's a ring on my hand, it's open season. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? She said, how do you feel about that? And I said, well, I'm conflicted. I don't mind the idea of, marking my territory in somebody else's territory, but I also don't like the idea of sharing it. It's kind of gross. Interesting sides of female nature, but point being is that I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I am surrendering to the way that things are. This is just the way the game is played. I'm going to have to compete with the current rules and the current system, the way that it is, not the way that I want it to be, and it is what it is. There's this huge movement of men, these, I guess, MGTOWs, men going their own way. And they're in the comment section of almost every single video that I post of, oh, women aren't worth anymore, women that, women this, I've been single since whatever. It's like, as a member of the human species, which are just a part of the mammal species, men and women are like peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter and chocolate. We are God's greatest creation. We are better together than we are apart. And to just like check out and surrender and say, oh, well, nothing I can do about it. Well, game's over here. I'm going to go home and take my ball with me. It's like, what? What is the point of life then? Right? The point of life is to reproduce, to have family, to share memories with that family, to make your kids the better version of you, the improved, new and improved version of you. And to just completely check out and surrender to that is absolutely insane, I think personally. So surrendering to the way, this is the way the game is. There's nothing that you can do about it. Oh, well. And I'm going to formulate a plan to work around these new rules. It's not ideal. I wish it wasn't this way, but it's nothing that you can do. And I wrote another list down here and try to stay on topic as much as I can here without my big monologue rants. But it's all a result of feminism. Feminism is, by definition, it is anti-reproduction, it is anti-family, and it's anti-female happiness as well. Anti-female happiness as well. If you ask any woman, let's say like if I had a woman in the car right now, I had a woman in private. If you ask them in private with no other female influence, the number one they'll say that they want, kids and a family and to be a mom, preferably planting peppers and making sourdough, peppers in the garden obviously, and making sourdough loaves of bread at home. But then women are heavily influenced by the communalistic way of thinking. And women don't make decisions individually. They make decisions with the tribe. They don't really think for themselves. So, for example, when a woman leaves, she has consulted with her friends, talked to the therapist, already applied for 3 different apartment leases, already has your replacement lined up, and you're like, but I love you. We can work on this. I can change. I can change. You're getting the news for the first time. She's known this for about 6 months, right? Part of this is female nature. Part of this is also feminism of let women be women. Men and women have different roles and different strengths. I'm going to stick to my strengths, let her stick to her strengths in this never-ending blanket of never-ending nothingness and this blanket of never-ending equality. It's not working. It hasn't worked. It has not worked at all for the past 30 years. And it makes me think our founding fathers and our ancestors, not even 70 years ago, 100 years ago, they had it locked down tight. They knew exactly what to do. They knew how to manage women. And I'm not saying this in a big, mean, scary way. If you give a woman to me and then you give that same woman to somebody else and then somebody else, you get 3 completely different women out of that same woman. They adapt to their surroundings. And I'm a big believer in a woman is an impression of the last man that sat on her, metaphorically speaking, obviously. or you are the cup, she is the water. The water will form to whatever cup. And like I was saying back before, the factory default, the factory reset, if she likes you enough, she will conform to what you are trying to create her into, etc. And so women also conform to the societal norms. They're influenced by pop culture, music, trashy reality TV and dating shows, music, the mainstream news, and their friend groups that are also propagated by that. So as the man, it is my job to manage her and then also manage those influences, because how many women do you know? And I think as a man, we've all been there, and there's no shame in admitting it, but how many women do you know where they got a shitty group of friends and they're trying to always penetrate? You don't need him. You can do better, because nobody keeps nobody keeps women single and miserable like other women who are single and miserable. If there's one woman who's going through a divorce and a nasty time, she's blown up her life and feels terrible about it, you bet your ass she will use every covert tactic to try to sabotage her friends to make herself feel better. Because the mating strategy of women is sabotaging other women. The mating strategy of men is go out, solution-based, strategize, and compete. It's why I'm explaining this was my solution. What has been told is not working. I got to do something different. That is literally by definition the male reproductive strategy. But women is sabotage. I'm going to sabotage my competition. Body positivity, fat acceptance. Everybody can look like Myles Garrett. If you look like the O-line for the Buffalo Bills or the BC Lions, no ma'am. No sir. If I have no money and you look like Barry Sanders, no thank you. Right? It is sad. It's not the way that I wish things were, but it is the way that things currently are. And for whatever reason, women have dragged this feminist ideology into the new world, Ray Rice style, drag her ass into the elevator. And this is what has influenced the modern dating market. They're not happy about it, but as a man, there are certain ways to navigate around it. And I have found, since adapting my beliefs to this, not subscribing to a one-itis type of mentality and just opening my eyes for the way that things are, not the way that they should be, I've had a dramatically better experience with women. I'm not saying this is a way to beat up on women. There's a lot of women that are low quality. They're terrible quality women and are not fit for long-term use. They are recreational use only. But there are also some fantastic women that I have met that are great quality, that subscribe to the same beliefs, want to have kids, want to raise them on my terms. And I'll use the example, Carrie Underwood, Mike Fisher, captain, ex-captain, I should say, for the National Predators, Ottawa Senators. She came out in an interview basically and said, yeah, we don't do LGBTQ alphabet soup cartoon shows. We do spankings. We do things old school. All the media, oh, you can't do that. That's child abuse. She backs him, which is why he's able to do that. If it was any other woman, he wouldn't be able to do that. But because his woman is fantastic, loves him, supports him, and is on board, he is allowed to do that. You got to have the woman on board with your stuff. Otherwise, you can't execute on any plans, right? Majority of women have majority of the power. Today, I would argue we live in a female society, female first. Every institution in Canada specifically has been dismantled. Men are not allowed to be men anymore. Everything has become feminized. Even my fight gym in Vancouver, where my Muay Thai instructor, were chatting about this a while ago, how they've had women coming in and they come in with these super skimpy tops and hoochie daddy shorts, and now all of a sudden as a big 6'5", 240-pound man, I got to spar a woman, and I'm very uncomfortable doing that because I'm just playing defense the entire time, putting my hands up, kind of covering and kind of letting the chips fall where they may. But every time, a woman will be like, why don't you hit me at the sparring gym? And I'll give her a light one to kind of make her feel like she's involved, but it's like, this is a spot for men to be men. And then they come with the skimpy sports bras and the hoochie daddy shorts. And now she's, throwing a teep kick, and I'm looking down her yak and I'm like, what the hell, man? I just want to focus on an actual fight. Or maybe that's happening beside you and you're distracted. You're like, oh, damn, male nature. There's a sweet potato right there. And then boom, get drop kicked in the face and get KO'd. So there's no spots for men to be men anymore. And men are not allowed to be men with other men. We talked about this before. The dark humor, over-sexualization, physical dominance, truculence, high testosterone, and tenacity is not allowed anywhere in society, as everything has been dismantled and become feminine first. Every institution, every layer of government, it is everywhere. And as a man, when the deck is completely stacked against me, the system wants me to bend over and expect me to take it and cough and say, thank you, Mr. Polyev. Thank you, Mr. Carney. Can I have some more, please? No, sir. Waiter check, please. I'm going to surrender to the way that it is. I'm going to play the game a little bit differently to try to get the results in life that I want. And I will say again, to finish this video, I've had a fantastic experience with women, and I hope that some of these changes help you as well. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, become a channel member. All my videos are up, and you can watch them now for 99 cents to support the content creation like this, and I will see you in the next video.